how exactly experience is for somebody who's a returning user. So in theory, this is like 25 in call. So if you go to 2024 in call and you use an auth ID and create a return, and then you use a return to file, like go all the way and actually like file through the product, like you submitted net filed, then when you come to the next year product, what you will do is when you click on continue, otherwise it would just essentially show you like the screen where you enter your details and then you can select the product and you proceed. But this is one thing different which is for a returning user. So what we say is that we have some info for you from the last year. So we basically, for the lack of a better word, like we connect to users last year's profile, and based upon that we pull in some details for them, and then we autofill those details so that the user has to enter some like little manual, less manual details. The idea is that some of the things around their names and all will not change, so that we can directly copy over, and anything else which will change, so that we give the user an option to go ahead and still edit it. So in the ticket which you have, what they're saying is for the new versus returning auth IDs, they basically want to run some marketing campaigns which are targeting returning auth IDs and new users differently. And what they're trying to do is, as a result, what they want is that they want us to parse and send the last filing date, which is like the date when the user filed in the previous year product, along with the existing analytics object, and I can show you what the existing analytics object is, and then they will use that data and they will transmit it into the ad platform. So there are two aspects for this ticket. The first is the last filing date, like how can we get this last filing date. So in theory, and this is what we like the engineer on the team who quickly reviewed this ticket said, that when you start a carry forward experience, we call this carry forward, when we say that start this return, I don't want to create a different return, I want to create or carry forward this existing return, then in that case, like I can choose any SKU, just as long as it's a DIY SKU, and then so it will tell you that these are the details which we are carrying forward for you. This is the information which we got for you from the last year. Now we are not displaying the information around the last filing date over here, but in theory we should have access to the last filing date at this point from all of the data which has been read from the database. So what we need to do is we need to fetch that last filing date, and then we need to pass it as part of the analytics, and I'll show you the analytics code. This is just not these analytics. This is just the fetching the body of the response. That part I am not very sure about. I need to look through the code exactly where we transmit, but I can like likely tell you. You can add a breakpoint over there and check. And this is something which Ihor can help you with as well. So, but the first part is that we've at this point, at this screen, and take my auth ID, or you can create your own auth ID. At this point, we will have access to the last filing date for the user. Then if you take a look at the code, and there is like something which is called Trackstar or Telium. So we send this whole payload to that object. And if you take a look at this payload, so these are right now the things which we already existing pass on to the payload. Like this is all the analytics calls which we pass on to the payload. What we need to do is, along with once you have figured out the last filing date, we need to pass this last filing date in the same existing object. So this object which we had was this s_visitor ID. We have so if you like take a look at where is the account creation date flow, that is how you can backtrack on where exactly this payload is constructed from. So here you have So here we have the account creation date. Like this is basically the analytics call which gets triggered. We have the account creation date, and this is we reading it from the backend. So these is like how we have passed on the account, things from back end to front end. So along with this, what you have to do is just pass on the last filing date. So the first thing which you should, in my opinion, familiarize yourself is how the carry forward code flow is, how it works. You can get Cursor to help you with the understanding in the carry forward. Do we currently have the last filing date, or if not, like if how we can get the last filing date from. And then once you have the last filing date, then you have to hook it up to the payload and then pass, like it will automatically get transmitted with the existing payload. So like for this case, when we are importing all of the data, this is what we had picked up already. So this is like we basically connect to their last year's tax data, get everything which we want to for them. And once this is done, we just have to make sure that if the filing date is not existing, like it's not getting already picked up, we just need to get that filing date and pass it on essentially.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got. I think more in high level, we need to file the 2024 first, and that auth ID we need to work on the 25 so that we can have some kind of refilling history, so that we can get all the back year date, and we'll basically you can reload the whatever you feel in the last year, that will get reload on the new year, the 25 the UI basically, and we need to pass that that account filling date basically. That will,
Yes.
so that I understood in a high level, but
yeah, obviously you need to go through the code. And first you need to understand how like the JNDI blocker which you're getting. So that one I'll ask how to set up some call with you, and then we can pass on from there. But like this is high level what's expected from the ticket. There are two aspects of it. First, get an auth ID which you can choose to test this from, and I can just share mine auth ID. Is just going to be easier for you to log into that auth ID. So you can use this auth ID, and then this is like a test only auth ID, and then we'll use that auth ID and the passwords to log in. That will in 25, because I've already filed a 24 return for you. So you can play around with this flow, take a look at the different code flows which get triggered on that screen, basically where we're doing carry forward, add a breakpoint over there to see what payload we are reading from the database, and then it's basically going to be what you're going to need now for carry forwarding that return.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Can you share me this URL for 24 and 25? Once?